Now, remember at the start when we talked about this all-seeing eye that was in the capstone of the pyramid, floats on the American $1 bill? That's really tied in with this, only this isn't where the all-seeing eye is. That's not the all-seeing eye. However, the all-seeing eye is stored in this symbology. I'll show you where. Because this is a law, and there are laws of vibrational energy, and everything's created from energy. Life, nature, every single thing follows this law. And here I'm going to show you the all-seeing eye, which is a legend. Everybody wants to understand it, but nobody knows how to see it. And I'm going to show you how you can see everything. This is absolutely incredible. Remember before I showed you this? 45 degrees. This was 30 to 60 degrees. This was 15 degrees and 75 degrees. And this outer one here, that's your 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Well, what does this start to look like? If we just get rid of this here, it starts to look like an eye looking at it from the outside. In fact, if we just put this in, there you have your pupil, your iris, and of course the white outer part of your eye, the eyeball. Do you remember that? Well, keep that fresh in your mind, because that vibration system is going to show you the eye. The next part I want to show you is the cube. Basic building block to all life. Everything is stored within a cube. We have the capstone inside the cube. And we also have a pyramid. Now with this pyramid, I'm going to connect it to the side. Okay? So here's what we have. Now when I draw it straight, all we really see is this. Now, part of life is actually expanding energy. So when life becomes animated, when it actually becomes alive, it leaves this cube form and it moves into a spherical form. And it's done that by being infused with this pure white light, pure energy, which is used as a stabilizing agent in order to stabilize life so it doesn't blink out of existence. It's also what I call the full spectrum vibration. So when you infuse this energy into life, what you actually end up with are these rounded circles. Now, the pyramid turns into a cone, remember? Because it's not just a flat pyramid with 4 sides, it becomes a cone with an infinite number of sides. So here's our cone, here's our capstone, and here's the cube, all of it now being animated. If we turn this and rotate it, so we're looking at this from this angle here, what we'll actually see is this, this, and this. The capstone, the cone, and of course the cube, or the outer part, this major sphere. And so what we actually start to see here is an eye. Amazing, isn't it? I want to show you a little bit more. Remember how the pyramid, depending on the number of sides it had, showed that it was spinning at different speeds, which shows that it's a regulator. In other words, it's different. And as soon as it's a regulator and it's different, it's going to show up differently. And what's really amazing is that the cone part here, which is different speed, is actually the iris part of our eyeball. And some people have brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, gray eyes, black eyes. There's all these different colors and textures inside the eye showing that they're a variable regulator. It's a variable speed. It's a different speed. So this follows that law. Remember before when I said the capstone, as it sucks in energy, expands and contracts as it fills up with energy, and when it pulses that energy out, it contracts back down. Well, your pupil expands and contracts with the amount of light that's in the environment. So your pupil also expands and contracts, following this same law. Remember how I said a cube is a basic building block of all life? Everything is stored within that cube. The cube never changes. The white part on our eye never changes. It's the same for everybody. It's always white. It's always that way. Amazing, isn't it? But what about this 45 degrees here? We're still missing this, what this dot is. Remember, because it came from the other one? Dot, a positive, neutral, negative states, 45, 45, 30, 15, and 0. And so on, up as well, 60, 75, and 90. Well, we still know that there's this 45 degree vibration. So what I want you to do is look over here real quick. Actually, I'll redraw it for you right here. And I want you to see something. Here's this same shape. Now what we have is we absorb light in through our eye, which is the exact same thing as the pyramid. In other words, it pulls this energy into the capstone. Well, the capstone of our eye is one pupil, so the energy's coming in through the back, and of course going back into all the rods and cones, into our optic nerve, back into the brain,